from the Cleveland Browns. He said, quote, "While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages will not allow me to be complacent." General Manager Andrew Berry said as recently as last week that he won't trade Garrett. And here is why. Since individual sacks became official in 1982, there are only 2 players to record more sacks than Garrett before turning the age of 30. His 30th birthday is not until late December, meaning that Myles Garrett has nearly all of next season to get the 6 sacks he needs to pass the great Reggie White. And here with all the latest is senior NFL reporter Jeremy Fowler. What more can you tell us about Myles Garrett wanting out of Cleveland?
Yeah, Hannah, I've been checking with sources close to this situation. I'm told that Myles Garrett is not making any sort of contract ploy here, that his words are genuine. He simply wants to win and feels that he cannot do so in Cleveland. I even asked a source if the Browns are aggressive this offseason in improving the roster, could that change his mind? And I was told no. So something has to give here, because the Browns and the source there told me that they have no plans to trade him. Nothing has changed on that front. They're very clear on that. And they have no problem paying him. So that was never an issue. They know he's a generational type player. And so this could certainly drag out. We don't know what's going to happen yet. There are no teams involved yet. It's too early for that. But the Browns were not blitzed by this situation. They knew ahead of time that this is where he stood before it got released to the public.
Man, 8 seasons, only 3 playoff games, and 1 win for Myles Garrett. Now, back to what happened a couple of years ago, because this is a big picture here, and that's signing Deshaun Watson. That record-setting deal was supposed to be the turning point of the Browns franchise. As you know, the opposite has happened. Since he joined the team, Cleveland has had the league's lowest completion percentage and committed the most turnovers as well. And they have wasted a very good defense anchored by Myles Garrett over that stretch, allowing the 5th fewest yards per game. And we have word, obviously, that he is going to miss a significant amount of time next season with re-injuring that Achilles. So how does the Myles Garrett trade demand figure into their quest for a quarterback?
Yeah, Hannah, my sense is this changes nothing, because the Browns were going to scour the earth for quarterback help. The pressure is on GM Andrew Berry, head coach Kevin Stefanski, coming off 3 wins to rebuild this team and get more improvement. They have to do so in a hurry. They feel like this is not a tanking situation or a full rebuild. They have enough talent to get it going with adding some new pieces. So they'll look hard in the draft at Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, the top 2 quarterbacks. And I'm told they're going to firmly evaluate any quarterback on the veteran market with starters experience. So you're talking anybody from Kirk Cousins, if he's available, Aaron Rodgers, maybe. We'll see what happens there. Sam Darnold, I'm told, probably is a little too rich for this team based on what they've already allocated for Deshaun Watson with that guaranteed money. But really everybody else, they're going to look at and give a chance to here.
But without Myles Garrett being on the table, at least for now.
At least for now. As far as we know, they have no plans to trade Myles Garrett, but as we know, it's a long offseason.
All right. We'll stay tuned. Jeremy, thanks. Hey, let's go over to our expert, the coach, for more there, Herman J.
Yeah, coach knows everything. They scour the earth for a quarterback. I like that, Jeremy. I like that. Okay, Herm, what's the best option for the Browns as they try to upgrade a quarterback?
Jeremy mentioned it. He said he was expensive, Sam Darnold.
Okay.
This team won 11 games last year with a quarterback that they had acquired, an older quarterback, Joe Flacco. So they have done this before. They've seen this movie before. They have a good roster. Defensively, they were one of the top 10 defenses in the league last year. They have enough pieces. If they could get a quarterback in place to give them some stability, this team could challenge in this division.
Well, Jeremy thinks the money's might not work.
Don't worry about the money.
Don't worry about
a lot of money.
You make it happen?
Owners have money.
They can make it happen.
Can't work. See, because you want to make your fan base feel like we're trying.
Okay.
Fan bases don't care about money.
That's true.
What did you get?
That's true, because they want to win. Darnold, by the way, coming off a career year, throwing for over 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns. Not bad. Herm, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you in a bit. All right, so let the countdown begin. Super Bowl 59, Eagles and Chiefs just 6 days away. Both teams in New Orleans and practicing ahead of their rematch of 2 years ago. KC won that one, and this won't come as a surprise if you know the Chiefs, with a late rally led by Patrick Mahomes. All right, today, Commissioner Roger Goodell giving his State of the Game address. Among other things, talking about electronic first downs. The topic is hot again after Josh Allen was denied a key first down against the Chiefs in the AFC title game. The NFL has been testing a system for a couple of seasons, even considering implementing it this year. Here is Goodell, new on SportsCenter.
We tested, I think, in the preseason this past year on being able to use that technology. It is complicated. Obviously, you have a lot of humanity that interferes potentially with some of that, at least from a camera angle standpoint. But you also have a shape of the ball that is different, and it's about where the ball is, not where the individual is necessarily. So there are a combination of factors are there, but I do think that technology will exist sometime in the future. But you really need to test it, make sure your data is right, and then implement it when you think you have it right.
On the scene at the Super Bowl in New Orleans is Sal Paolantonio. Sal, lots discussed today. What did Commissioner Goodell say about the possibility of an 18-game schedule in the near future?
Well, Commissioner Goodell said, Jay, that no formal negotiations have begun with the NFL Players Association, but after the press conference, I had a chance to talk to a senior league official to get some perspective and context on the 18-game schedule. And here's what we learned. Bottom line, it is going to happen sometime in the near future, 2 or 3 years down the road. The first thing that has to happen is formal negotiations opened up with the NFLPA. The league wants to get out of the business of 3 preseason games and get down to 2 and add a regular season game to 18. And they will also have to talk with broadcast partners because there'll have to be some negotiations there in terms of what kind of compensation will come from the networks once they go to an 18-game schedule. But the bottom line is that the league is very concerned about the health and safety of the players if they go to an 18-game schedule. They want to make sure that the Players Association is on board with that. Remember, concussions were down this year 17% year over year. That's all preseason games, all regular season games, and practices. Concussions down 17%. So the league is moving in the direction of health and safety for these players, knowing that an 18-game schedule is inevitable.
All right, so by the way, NFL expanded to a 17-game regular season back in 2021. Hannah?
Yeah, it's a lot of football. And Sal, for many of those games, obviously you have covered the Philadelphia Eagles, as you will be all week for us here at ESPN. So how did they spend their day?
Well, it was a very light day for the Eagles. The Eagles took buses from their team hotel downtown here and went over to the Saints practice facility and had a team weightlifting session. And that lasted pretty much all morning. Then back to the team hotel for team meetings and to get ready for opening night. We're about 4,500 members of the media. They're good friends in the media. I'll be one of them. Jeff Darlington will be here, of course. We'll ask a bunch of questions, find out what's going on. It's going to be a rowdy time, I'm sure. We'll enjoy it, though. We'll get some fun moments out of them.
Oh yeah, it's always crazy, and we definitely expect to hear a question or two from you, Sal, for sure. So have fun at media night, you and Jeff, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right.
All right, when Patrick Mahomes takes the field on Sunday, he has a chance to break a tie with Joe Montana for the second most Super Bowl MVPs all time. The only player to win the award more often is, of course, Tom Brady, who won 5 overall, 4 in New England, and 1 with Tampa Bay. The aforementioned Jeff Darlington, also in New Orleans, covering the Chiefs. Jeff, how are Patrick Mahomes and the team approaching their 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance?
Well, Jay, it's this interesting line that they're trying to walk right now. The idea of making sure that they aren't complacent, but also understanding that the idea of consistency and routine is important to a team that's making their 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance. And I was talking to somebody within the organization who actually made a pretty funny point. I was like, what's different this time around? And he goes, I'm trying to think of anything different, and there just isn't anything. We are boring, and this is just routine at this point. So that's really where the Chiefs are. They've been there, done that. that, and I think that they're trying to embrace that to some capacity without, of course, getting complacent. So how do they avoid complacency? Well, I can tell you that Patrick Mahomes said Andy Reid is simply making sure that guys understand it is still a one-day-at-a-time mentality. They don't talk about the idea of a three-peat. They don't talk about the history that they potentially could make. They're going to save that for the potential of a win. For now, it is about planning, something they did today on the practice field with a light workout, and then we'll see these Chiefs players shortly here taking the podium here at welcome night for the Super Bowl.
Jeff Darlington covering the Chiefs in New Orleans. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Hannah? Bring Gordon Edwards back in. How did you just describe Saquon's running style?
I've been thinking about that all year. I said, who does he remind me of? Barry Sanders, his ability to stop and go, and home run speed, Eric Dickerson.
Nice.
It's not bad.
Pretty good combo.
That's not bad. Okay, so what's the priority for that defense of KC to stop Mr. Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson in that offense for Philly?
You have to have tremendous gap control. It starts with your defensive line and your linebackers. Your fits have to be perfect. You cannot jump around blocks. When you jump around blocks, you get out of your gap, we got problems. And Bolton has to be a good tackle as a linebacker. Tranquil, obviously, the old linebacker. But they got to get this guy on the grass. But it has to be gap responsibility by the defensive line. You cannot jump gaps. You can't skip gaps. You have to understand, make this guy spill out to the outside. Don't let him get it.
With Robinhood Gold, earn 4% APY with high-yield cash. Plus, get a 3% match on IRA contributions, so you can make the most of your money. Sign up today for 30 days free, then $5 a month.
Up for an adventure?
Always. What is this place?
You made it. What's up, cuz?
You were the last to see the president alive.
Welcome to the pit.
Light him up now!
A crew of pirates is coming.
Hit us inside. If it hits you inside, you got a problem.
It's a little concerning the way they were giving up running yardage, I thought, against Buffalo at times, Kansas City. You know, kind of made you wonder, like, how effective are they going to be against Saquon? We know Spags will have some stuff dialed up. Let's go to the flip side. How about Vic Fangio and that number 2 scoring defense? So good. What's the biggest concern for Mahomes?
Well, Jalen Carter. He can wreck the game, and he comes right at you inside. And they have a really good defensive line. They can rush you with just 4 guys. And Jalen Carter has been a game wrecker all through these playoffs. What quarterbacks hate the most is when they in the pocket right there. He's on you. He comes to those A and B gaps. He can get right on you. It just, your vision gets messed up. You can't sit up. You can't stand up. You can't set your feet to throw the football.
Do you double him, Coach? Is that?
Yeah, you have to.
You have to, right?
All the protection is turned toward Jalen Carter.
Okay.
As soon as the center gets over the ball, he figures out, where's Jalen Carter at? Check it. We're going here. The protection is going him. 2 guys.
Yeah.
And let him have one-on-one.
That's what everybody's been doing. He's been doubled like 37 more times than the next closest player in the NFL.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really good player.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you, Jay. You're welcome, Jay. Breaking news today. Browns defensive end Myles Garrett announcing he wants a trade, citing his desire to win. Cleveland didn't win last season, finishing 3-14. Big part of that, injuries to QB Deshaun Watson, and he likely will miss much of next season with, again, another torn Achilles. Cleveland has the 2nd pick in the upcoming draft. Our Matt Miller releasing a full 2-round mock draft this morning, and he has Penn State's Abdul Carter going 1st overall to Tennessee, and the Browns taking Travis Hunter at number 2. For the quarterbacks, Matt has Cam Ward going to the Giants with the 3rd pick, and Shedeur Sanders going 6th overall to the Raiders. And the man himself joins us now, Matt Miller. Matt, you had the Browns taking Travis Hunter in your mock before the Garrett trade request broke. How should that news impact their draft strategy at number 2?
Jay, I don't think it does impact their draft strategy. This is a bad roster. The Browns are not in a spot where they could say, we're one position away, whether that be quarterback, wide receiver, pass rusher, or corner, the premium positions. The Browns just need good players. That doesn't change with Myles Garrett wanting out. I think what it does tell us is that Abdul Carter, the fantastic edge rusher from Penn State and my number 1 overall player in this class, Abdul Carter, you will not get past the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. I had him going first overall in the mock this morning. He absolutely dominated offensive lines this season. And let's remember, this was his first real season playing as a full-time pass rusher after playing his first years as a stand-up linebacker. It's easy to make the helmet comparison, the jersey comparison. He looks, he moves, he plays like Micah Parsons. So if you're the Cleveland Browns and he's on the board at number 2 overall, and you have Myles Garrett wanting out, well, that's a very, very easy decision for the Browns to make.
Yes, and indeed, I believe you 100%. Your first QB off the board comes at number 3 with the Giants selecting Cam Ward, following by the Raiders taking Shedeur Sanders at number 6. So walk us through your thought process for the fits there. Start with Ward and the Giants.
Ward and the Giants is really a nice fit for Brian Daboll's scheme. You think about what Daboll did early with Josh Allen. He simplified things. He got him moving, just like Cam Ward can do here. Cam moves so well to set up the pass, but he can also beat you as a runner on the field. One of my favorite things about him, how he dials up velocity and touch on the move. You have Malik Neighbors. You have Andrew Thomas. When healthy, the Giants do have some weapons. So Ward is a good fit there. He could play right away and elevate within this offense because of some of the dynamic dual threat abilities that he does have coming out of the University of Miami. Now, Shedeur and the Raiders, again, maybe we connect the dots a little too easily this time of the year. Who has Shedeur worked with in off seasons? Tom Brady, who is now the minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's easy to connect the dots there. I think in Sanders, Brady's going to see a player that reminds him of himself, a pocket passer who's tough, who's accurate. Now, he doesn't have Tom's size. He's about 6'1.5", 200 pounds. That's kind of the knock on him. He's not a great runner outside the pocket, but you cannot find a more accurate surgical passer when things are clean in front of him. The Raiders have some work to do. They need